Hey, what's up, guys? Mr. Dan here, back again with another Frozen car review. The day after my wife and I saw Silent Night, the new John Woo action film. So I just wanted to real quick give you my thoughts without any edits. I do have another video that I want to get out tomorrow morning about made-for-TV movies, because tomorrow night I'll be on Psychobabble talking about TV horror with on the Terrence McGowan channel with the crew of Psychobabble. So I actually had really kind of wanted to see Godzilla, but I wanted to include my wife. She was home, and last time she was, I went to see Thanksgiving, and she when I got back, she tried to turn it into a detective movie. She's like, "I like detective movies. You saw one without me." I'm like, "Well, okay, there may have been a detective in there, not really, but it was a horror movie. It was not for you, trust me." And it was funny. We were watching the preview started, and she said, "I thought this movie started at 6." It was like 6:16, and the previews were still going. But we saw the preview for that Black Pool movie. Is that what it's called? The Pool movie. I'm not terribly enthusiastic, by the way. But she doesn't know who Blumhouse is. She doesn't watch horror movies, so she doesn't know the connotation. So she had no idea that this was a horror movie. And then the kid's in the pool and something grabs him, and she about jumped out of her chair. That was fun. But she certainly knows who John Woo is. So that's why we chose this one. And I'll be trying to see Godzilla in the next few days here. Okay, so everyone knows the premise. A father loses his son, and he's shot in the throat, and his son is killed in a drive-by shooting, where two gangs are shooting each other up, and the boy is innocently killed, and he no longer has the ability to speak, and he falls into absolute despair, and then that despair turns into rage, and he starts to develop a plan to exact revenge on all the bad guys. And his wife at first tries to sort of connect with him and help him, but she eventually takes off for her parents' house, so it's just him and his vengeance, and that's it. There's a scene where there's another character, a detective, who, by the way, also doesn't have any lines, because he doesn't interact with anybody. So you hear people talking in the background and things, and you hear the bad guys kind of on the phone with each other. "Hey, what's going on, man?" But there's very few other characters in this film that speak. The last 3/4 of it, I mean, it's barely a word. You just hear some chatter on the police scanner and some background talk. So the detective never actually has a word. So he goes in for a meeting with him, but he sees all the most wanted posters on the wall, and he basically just takes pictures of them all, and then leaves. And the detective's like, "Hey, what's up with that?" And then he basically starts to gather intelligence on everybody as he's learning how to fire a weapon and drive a car. He has like a souped up, I think it's a Charger. I'm a little embarrassed. I don't know that, being a car guy, but and he basically just prepares himself with some weapons, and he does have an initial confrontation with somebody that he's identified as being a key player, and that's a really good fight. It's kind of a mess, but he mostly wants to get intelligence from this guy, and it just a lot of things just don't go according to plan. The fight scenes are really hard hitting and brutal. You feel every punch. People are just slammed into tables and furnitures. The gunplay is just top notch. The car chase scenes, which involve cars and motorcycles, are excellent and just nail biting, and people get messed up in this movie for sure. And then it ends essentially kind of the way you think it did. And by the way, yes, I think they did show too much in the trailer. Yeah. I mean, my brother asked me if they showed everything. No, they didn't show everything, but they showed. It was very quick, but having seen the film, some of the key scenes where you saw a little glimpse of them in the trailer. The ending takes place in the chief bad guy's lair, which is interesting because it's real grimy looking, but he has his little section carved out. It's all like sort of like pimped out and everything with exquisite furniture and everything. And there's another character of this is not really an ambiguous movie at all, really, but there is one character who is high on drugs, the mistress of the bad guy. So, there's like a little moral dilemma there. Does she know what she's doing, or is she being forced to? She's, at one point he sees all the bruises on her arm where she's been injected with drugs. So that's a dilemma. And to be frank, I didn't really care for how that played out. Now the final sequence, as he's attacking this essentially this fortress for the bad guys, I thought it was pretty good. The very, very end, the final confrontation with the bad guy, I wasn't crazy about. I think it could have ended just could have been a little better, I guess, in terms of the ending. And that's pretty much it. It's about what you think it is. There's some good shots. There's a camera shot through a target as he's shooting it. Little pieces of it are disintegrating, and you can see more and more of his face. There's some pretty good stuff in here. At times, this is very much like a John Woo movie. Some of his signature scenes of people like holding guns on each other and things like that. Is this going to rank up there with The Killer, or Hard Boiled, or A Better Tomorrow, or A Last Hurrah for Chivalry, one of his early kung fu movies? No. It probably has a little more in common with A Better Tomorrow 2, which eschewed a coherent plot for mayhem. It was basically a John Woo mayhem movie. This plot made a little more sense than that one. In that movie, they made up a twin. Because almost like retconned a twin brother for the character in the first one that got killed, just to bring back the actor. But anyway, that's my recollection. At any rate, it was pretty good. A fun time. One I probably could have waited for a home release, perhaps, in the future rather than see it in a theater. But as many of you know, I have time now, so I'm seeing films in the theater, and it's right down the street. So that's it. I hope that didn't sound too lukewarm. If you're a horror fan or a Godzilla fan, I might say, and you haven't seen any films, there's a few other ones out there you might want to take a look at before this. But I did enjoy it. It's very much like a 3 out of 4 kind of a movie, pretty much. Okay? All right. There it is. Thanks a lot. Let me know what you guys thought of it, if you had seen it, and what are your favorite John Woo films. And I'll talk to you next time. Later.